Hello everybody, welcome to the MX Bikes video. Today we're going to be going through all of the quote-unquote viable 250s in MX Bikes, and I'll be giving you guys my favorite setup that I have. I've gone ahead and tested, tried, modified plenty of setups here for us in this game for 5 of the best bikes: the Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, Kawasaki, Husqvarna. And so we have a good mix of them all. This is my first lap here on the Yamaha. I was really feeling the Yamaha yesterday, hopped on today, felt really good on the Yami, put down my fastest lap ever, and you guys are looking at it right now. So a little bit worse quality because I had to clip it with my computer, you know, whatever. But let's check out the setup that I used to get such a good lap time, and you guys will see the lap time after this. But I actually ended up using the 80 whatever gallons of gas. That's kind of important. I'd keep it somewhere around there, the same as me. And then you guys can see the 20mm, and then the MotoMaster 270, and then the rear disc. I don't think that's changed at all, but a lot of these are kind of just other people's and then mixing kind of my stuff between them. This is right here from Das, but this is the suspension: spring 26, bump 13, 9, 5, 100, and then we go to the rear. It's 319, 11, 2 and 1/4 or a quarter, and then 12, and then I think it was 7. And then headed over here, it's not stock. I think I go to the 1249. I don't think that's stock at all. So I like the gearing a lot on this Yamaha. You guys are still watching the absolute burn piece in the background that I'm trying to reel and put in here. Last part here is on this Das setup, a Pro Rider that goes really fast: 23, 15, 8, and 143. This is my favorite setup so far out of all of these, except one of them that I think I really did justice for the bike. So we'll be headed into those, but we're closing out this absolute heater here. I decided to keep this whole lap in just because I think it was worth you guys seeing as we're going to come up. It was a 2:03.922, so absolute burn piece for me, and that was my first lap on it. Headed to the Honda now. This bike, I think the setup I have on it it's good. It does do it a little bit of justice. I think it just helps with stability, but I run another 1.51 gallons of gas. You'll see that a lot in these. It's just enough to run a 30-minute, so there's that. And you guys can copy everything here on the first screen. I don't mess with tire pressure much at all, but this is definitely a setup that I modified a lot from skills. Not a whole lot, but like modified like little things here and there. You guys are seeing the suspension right now. With the main theme on these bikes, you're trying to keep the front end a little bit more stiff, and then the fork height a little bit higher, make some stability and give yourself some room to work with the front wheel, so you're not always just bouncing, and that's a big point of emphasis here on this Honda setup. And then I think it's stock mapping, gearing, all that good stuff. So you know, it's fun. This setup isn't crazy. It's not like you're gonna end up like, you know, just being 2.5 seconds faster because of the setup, but I can definitely see you seeing you get a little bit more comfortable. But see another one with the fork height at 15, 25 for the fork offset, swing arm I have at 6, rod length is 146. Mapping, do whatever you want, but 2023 works really well for me. We'll head over to the Husqvarna now, where it was all right. I was kind of a fan of it on TFC's old tracks, like that series bundle, but on this one, on these tracks, it wasn't really my favorite. But this is the best setup I could really find for it. I think I messed around with a lot of just different people's setups. I don't think that it was you know, one in particular, but another 1.51 gallons of gas there. And then you'll have the suspension, which I think is heavily modified if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully you guys can check off of this. If you're looking for consistency, you're not a pro rider, not struggling to get quality times or whatever, definitely recommend the Husqvarna if you're just trying to spin some laps and have some fun. I think geometry stayed the same or not geometry, the gearing and drivetrain pretty much stayed the same. I don't think I messed with anything here. The gearing is already pretty good. I'm not like the biggest fan of it because it is a lot of like in between second and third on this track in specific. But headed here, we got the 24 and another 15 fork height. I think that's pretty common on these setups as well that I've messed with. Fork offset at 24, 6, and then 144, and then you can turn the mapping up or down depending on what you want to do, but I kept it at the same. End up scrubbing out of this one here into the Kawasaki. This one, I think I'm most proud of this one with what I did to it. Troy tried it today. He didn't like it for whatever reason. He's just, I feel like he's just kind of grumpy today. But another 1.51 gallons of gas, of course. And then you guys can copy anything else down. I think it's all stock on this front page, though, other than the gas. But 1.51 seems to be working for me, especially on this bike, where you're keeping the back end very focused on. The back end's more focused on than anything. And then we head into the suspension, where you guys will see a lot of different stuff here. I can't tell you what the default is, but I know it's pretty heavily modified, and especially with this right here, not the drivetrain. I meant to say that on the others, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I did a good job of stabilizing the Kawasaki as much as you can without losing too much speed, and I really find myself enjoying this setup, like when I ride it and use it. So it's pretty nice. But here we're down to 13 fork height, which also helps out with the front tuck and stability, all that good stuff. 25 fork offset, 6 swing arm, and rod length is down to 133. So a lot different there. Once again, you can use whatever mapping you'd like, but I prefer the one that is current on there. So headed over to the Zook. I'm sorry, Doc. I'm so sorry. I was not a fan of the setup. I tried it. I didn't even integrate even a little bit from your setup into this one. This one was just a good setup. Skilliams, Mr. Skills, had this setup out, and I modified it pretty crazy. So 1.51 gallons of gas, who would have guessed? And running actually the 110 back wheel on this one. I think steel could be a little bit different. Front leverage is a little different, if I do recall. Headed up here, we're going to look at the suspensions now and all that good stuff. 25, 12, 10, 5 millimeters, and 100 millimeters. And then with the rear suspension, you guys can see it all right there. I think rear is pretty, like, generally not too changed. I think there are some drastic changes, like every setting here and there, but it doesn't really matter. And then 1350, I think that's just the stock drivetrain. It has pretty good gearing. It's pretty amazing in my opinion. I really do enjoy the Suzuki as is, especially stock, when it comes to just how it feels and the gearing in general. And then we will go here to the last one, 25, and then this fork height is actually as high. It's due to how already stable it was, and then the swing arm's at 6, and then rod length's at 143, which could be stock. Then, of course, the Yoshimura setup, or mapping, whatever. I think that's the only thing I got from Doc. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Go ahead, try out all of these setups. It's fun. You can you know, mess with them, whatever. They could just work for my settings or could work for my play style, but for those of you new players who are just looking for a generally good setup to maybe mess with or, you know, get involved with, I think this is a good start here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, like I said, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It would help me out a lot, and especially with the algorithm with the likes, I realize that helps quite a bit. So would really appreciate that. But yeah, look forward to future videos and future streams. Any of my past content you guys go watch, I'll see y'all there. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.